So about a year ago, can't believe it's been this long, we got a campaign demo for Halo Infinite, and it caused a bit of a controversy. The game was obviously nowhere near completion, so they delayed the game, which was definitely the best decision. I don't know how it would have turned out if the game was released in a state like that. It would have been a huge disappointment. It would have been a huge letdown. And it more than likely would have flopped. It would have been just like Cyberpunk 2077 was, and yeah, that was not a good game when it launched. It was filled to the brim with embarrassing glitches. It would have really sucked if Halo Infinite launched like that. A lot of people were kind of upset at first that they delayed it, but after we saw Cyberpunk 2077, that definitely was the best call. Everything in this demo looks plasticky. It looks too kid friendly. The lighting looks bad. Images keep popping in and out. This was not completed whatsoever. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to show this at E3 last year. I mean, technically it wasn't E3, but still. So the other day we saw the multiplayer overview and a campaign trailer, and there have been quite a few improvements made. First of all, the graphics look so much better and more polished. Everything looks more gritty and realistic. There was a lot more detail and lighting. Chief even has a much more beaten up and gritty look to his armor. The story will unfortunately be continuing the AI uprising crap from Halo 5, but thankfully it seems the story will put that kind of to the side and focus more on the Banished and Zeta Halo, which is much more interesting than pretty much anything from Halo 5. The characters that we've seen so far, like the pilot and the clone of Cortana, look like pretty much better characters than pretty much any of the characters from Halo 5, like Locke and Blue Team, and I don't know, I forget like a lot of the names because of how forgettable they were. The story in Infinite seems like it'll be much more emotional too. Like we just saw in this cutscene, Chief seems to have an emotional connection with the clone of Cortana already, even though we've only seen her just a bit. I'm already starting to care about these characters more than I did in the entirety of Halo 5. Now, let's talk about the multiplayer. I'm quite a fan of the direction the multiplayer is going in. It seems to be a good blend of the older and newer games, so kind of the best of both worlds. I am a bit concerned on the equipment though. I have a feeling it might make the gameplay too fast-paced like it did with Halo 5. But I do like how they're making the armor abilities part of the sandbox. I also really like the new level of customization they're putting in. I'm glad it will have no loot boxes or pay to win. However, some of the Halo purists are finding things to whine about like they always do. They're basically upset that the gameplay isn't an exact replica of Halo 3's gameplay, and they're also freaking out about sprint and new armor abilities. I mean, as much as I love Halo 3, its gameplay hasn't aged well compared to modern shooters. That's why we need to make innovations to be welcoming and enjoyable for newer fans. After all, we do want Halo Infinite to make Halo popular and mainstream again, but I am genuinely concerned that the gameplay will be too similar to Halo 5. Like, I mean, I liked Halo 5's multiplayer and all, but like, I'm not a really big fan of like the whole feel of it. It's too much like Call of Duty, and like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like classic Halo. But the ordnance drops seem like an interesting thing to experiment with in big team battle game modes. I'm also excited to see the many new game modes they might put in the game, if old ones are returning. I would like to see Escalation Slayer from MCC in the game, because that was a pretty fun Halo version of gun game from Call of Duty. But I'm hoping they don't make this another knockoff of COD. Speaking of which, I wonder how this year's Call of Duty will do with Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042, which both look really good. I have a feeling this year's Call of Duty game will flop because it was made almost entirely in a pandemic, which that was one of the reasons why Black Ops Cold War was such a mess, because it was made almost entirely within a pandemic, so I don't want to know how this year's game will turn out. But I am interested. But this year's game is going to Sledgehammer Games, which they don't have the best reputation with Call of Duty games. It's not that their games are bad, it's just that they're like pretty bare bones and mediocre. But I'm probably going to make a video once it's revealed to the public, kind of analyzing the trailer. So yeah guys, that's about it for the video. I will see you later. Goodbye.